Hello, gorgeous humans. I don't know why I always giggle when I start these videos. Okay, Ernestine here. Well, today I'm giggling for the very good reason that I just got back from a very soggy but very rewarding trip to Temperhofelfeld, which is a huge park that used to be an airport where I just recorded what will end up, I think, being two different videos, which was awesome. So, cool. And this is part of my new initiative, which is Ernestine Unleashed, because I have to get the fuck out of this room. Last week's check-in, this is week 9, by the way, if anyone can keep track at this point. Last week's video mentioned that I was hoping it was going to be the last week that I was going to be recording in this room because it looks like Berlin's opening some of its rehearsal spaces where I can actually film in a fucking studio with and be on a floor that's not scary with point shoes and on ladders and all this fucked up shit that I've been doing that's made all of this what I actually feel is like a really cool body of work now. I was uploading, my computer just wants to kill me. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? I was uploading my like 48th video or something, and now that I have a nice shiny new camera, oh my goodness, do you want to see the treat that was given to me by Mr. I won't tell you his name because that's confidential, but this was a gift from a ex-client in Boston who was worried about me and was like, what can I do to make life easier for you? And I was like, you can get, actually his name is Bob, who cares? You know, everyone's named Bob or John. So it was either a Bob or a John, and he sent me this camera from my wish list on Amazon, which was so sweet because I realized that navigating that a wish list on Amazon.de, not Amazon.com, is a little tricky for y'all sweet Luddites who can't figure out Google Translate. So, link below, because International Horrors Day is on Tuesday, and this is another reason that I'm having, like, a good week. Well, to finish story number 1, hello, this is me, you know, like, someone asked me this week if I have ADD, and I'm like, do I? I don't know. Anyway, okay, so I biked to the place, it's to the park, it started pouring rain, so I just sort of like hung out under a tree and like waited for conditions to improve, and scouted out like a beautiful place with wild roses growing, and it was fucking stupidly beautiful, and it really, I had a moment where I was like, this really reminds me of New England, and it just felt like being home again. So Berlin doesn't quite feel like home yet, but I'll get there, I'm sure. Anyway, so I was sitting there in the rain, and I have these really cool new earpods. I mean, everyone else has these. I'm like the last person to get them, but they're the little things without the wires. So I can like Bluetooth to my phone and then tell my phone to play and have the things in my thing and be dancing around the field and recording it and hear the music reasonably well, which is a super cool way to film a piece. So yeah, I was just sitting there under this tree waiting for the rain to stop, and the rain stopped. And then, like, with this sweet homeless guy as my audience, I took off my pants because I had my shorts underneath, and I took off my shirt because I had my bra underneath. And, you know, standard issue Ernestine dance video attire. And, just started fucking around and dancing, and you know, you have to adapt to the terrain. You'll see me like flicking aside some bottle caps so that I don't ruin my feet, but my feet are intact. I am covered in mud, so I think I'm headed for a bath. But there's like this parting of the clouds, and the sun came out, and I was able to record some dance for everybody, for y'all. So this was an amazing adventure, and then I put my soaking wet clothes back on. I get back on my bicycle, you know, much to the amusement of everyone who's like watching this weird woman dancing in the forest. I had a little like shower cap over my brand new camera so that I don't fuck it up on the like second time I've used it. And then I find, serendipitously, a cafe that's open, and it's like, okay, so the update from Berlin is bars and restaurants are allowed to open now, not clubs, but like bars and cafes and restaurants are allowed to open with these very weird rules that make it feel very odd to be inside, so most people are just opting to like, keep eating at home because being in a restaurant is just so fucking strange, because the waiter comes up to you with his mouth covered, and I don't know why, but people are really like upset about having their noses covered. So people are in Berlin are really good at obeying the like wear the mask rule, but they always like pull it down over their nose, and I'm like, you realize this defeats a lot of the point. Just very, very silly. So, you know, they had their things pulled down, and long story short, I was able to get a fantastic mug full of chai tea to like warm me up on my way back home. So then I biked in the rain and trying to keep this my fantastic new hair. I have a fantastic new hairdresser who I'm like, oh gosh, he's cute too. Oh boy, it's dangerous. I'm trying to keep it dry because the color lasts longer. So I have my scarf wrapped around my head, so I look like a little babushka. But because I live in Neukölln, where all the Turkish people live, nobody looks twice at a woman who has her head covered. And I think that these women are actually quite ingenious in keeping their hair dry in the rain. I'm sure that wasn't the original Prophet Muhammad's like whatever commandment in the you know. I know a little bit about Muslims, but not very much. Let's avoid some controversial territory. All I'm saying is that for some moments, covering your hair is really quite fucking practical. Anyway, hot chai tea. I arrive home. Oh my goodness, and I just have this like I have like grass in my shoes, and it's spring. I was like inhaling flower blossoms on my bike on the way home. Okay, so life update number 2 that has me coming out of my depression a little bit is that my housemates ganged up on me and like were like, why are you so miserable? And why don't you fix it? Which was a kind of like super I didn't want to gender it and say super male because I find myself doing this all the time, saying, if you're miserable, why don't you just fucking fix it? And here's how, and can I help? But they did this thing where they're like, connect to activists, because of course what I'm upset about is our continuing inability to work in Germany. And I was able, within a couple of days, to end up on a 45-minute Skype call with one of the leaders of the BSD, which is one of the foremost like activist sex worker rights organizations, advocacy, lobbying organizations in the country. And I was on this 45-minute call with her, and it was fantastic. And I was learning about what lobbying efforts they're engaged in. And then she was like, these are the things that you could do to help, especially as an English speaker, if you would like to. So I have 3 projects, some of which are secret because being an activist involves my 3rd persona, which I can't tell you all about because it involves exposing some very illegal things in a public way. So, but one of the cool things is that International Horse Day on June 2nd, you're just going to hear me hammering this and hammering this and hammering this. I know my startup disk is almost full. I know that. I need an external hard drive. I'm putting that on the wish list, and someone really needs to buy it for International Horse Day, which is basically the equivalent of my birthday, because I don't like telling people my birthday because privacy. So buy me things, and buy them now, because like then they'll arrive in time. Yeah, so we're doing this really cool action. I'm not going to go into the details because again, privacy, but since we can't really officially do a march, we are going to celebrate International Horse Day by taking meals to the district of Berlin where the outdoor sex workers work. And these are apparently, I'm learning, primarily non-English speaking people, Turkish and Romanian, and then also people from all over the world who already congregate on the weekends to be fed by this one particularly rad trans-based organization. And we're just gonna go and say, y'all haven't been forgotten, which is just a beautiful, like wearing masks and with protection and all of that sort of thing, and enough social distance, but I love it. I love it. And the other thing that's developing is that there may be a church involved, which if you've read your history of International Horse Day, I'll probably do like a blog post just to remind you all, but International Horse Day started in Lyon in 1973 because whores were taking refuge from the police, and they were given refuge by the the leader of a church who invited them in, and they stayed there for like a week or two, and Simone de Beauvoir visited, and it was amazing, and it kicked off this holiday that we have now that's International Whores Day, where we celebrate all of our marginalization, all the fucked up things that are happening, but also get out into the street and party. And Berlin is really good at partying, and we can't party right now. So instead we're just gonna like break bread. And that to me seems really fucking appropriate with the people who have been the most fucked over by the whole corona thing. Because apparently nobody bothered to tell the homeless community of Berlin, particularly the homeless sex worker community of Berlin, that coronavirus existed until all of the shops closed and their aid organizations closed their doors. So, we have work to do. I have work to do now. And OnlyFans is taking off, so I have a little bit of money. And I have a new patron this week, and the patron is like a dear fucking friend. So thank you to my new patron. I love you so much. And I love all of the rest of you so much. Everyone who's hung in there with me for 9 weeks or wherever you join this crazy like circus parade. Thank you so much for joining, for watching videos. I've gotten some like stunningly beautiful compliments on YouTube and Patreon lately. Really, really uplifting my soul. So if you see the pace of the videos sort of trickle down a little bit, it's because I'm focusing on both OnlyFans sexy content as well, and because so, you know, career shit, and a little bit of the depression still keeping me from being as optimally functional as possible, and also this activism stuff is going to be taking up a bit of my time. So I think not daily videos, because I'm trying to be nice to myself and not have these obscenely high expectations, but yeah, I'm still going to be sending content, you know. I've been doing this for over a year now, and so don't worry, there will still be stuff. It's just going to be, I think, maybe like 5 days a week. Is that more reasonable than every single fucking day? My computer was like whirring as if it's about to like fucking explode. Anyway, okay, much love to you all. I hope everyone's staying safe and healthy and reopening in healthy ways, and where things are reopening in non-healthy ways, like fucking resist that shit and do what you know to be best. Yay science, yay sanity, and thank you all for your support, and enjoy the Ernestine